Hey, it's Coach with Live Fitness. Thanks for checking this out. You can find us at bluespringspersonaltraining.com. And what I've got for you today, first off, thank you for checking this out. What I've got for you today is going to be difficult to hear and difficult to accept. And the reason being is because it goes against everything that we are consciously aware of, that our brain actually comes up with way more than we are actually consciously aware of, that what we are aware of is very, 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 very small as far as what our brain does, all the work that it does and everything, that the ideas that it creates. And it's difficult to accept because it goes against everything that we experience. And it's very much going into the fact that we know far less about ourselves than what we think we do. And this, starting back in the 1980s, we started learning about this priming phenomenon, in which priming is just setting ourselves up to elicit particular behaviors and responses. Now, we can demonstrate that right now. If, for example, if I have you think of the word eat and then show you this, you're like 90% more likely to come up with the word soup and not soap. Fair enough. Right? We can also do this with your fitness and your fat loss. If I ask you to start thinking about how you felt before your fitness journey, or how you may feel right now when you were overweight and you were unhealthy and you had your self-confidence was low and you had low self-esteem and we had all these difficulties and all these problems, and have you start thinking about that now, what do you think of? Right? The thing is when we prime ourselves up for this, we become much more susceptible to particular words, right? For example, soup as well as fat. Right? Not only are we more susceptible to it, we're more likely to see it when it's blurred, right? We're more likely to hear it when we hear people talking about fitness or fat loss or healthy or unhealthy or overweight or what have you. We're primed for those words. And you can do this in a crossword puzzle. We're primed for those words. It's easier for us to find those words out of all this jumble of misinformation, or all this jumble of information. So the thing is as we get more and more outwards, we have what we call the ripple effect. As we start thinking about fitness, we start thinking about healthy. We start thinking about healthy. We start thinking about diet. We start thinking about diet. We start thinking about food. And it ripples outwards. And just like a ripple, the waves get smaller and smaller. It has a weaker and weaker effect the more outwardly we go. Right now, John Bargh from New York University was published in 2006 in the Scientific or Psychological Science journal. And what he did is he demonstrated that with 18 to 22-year-olds, he would have them come up with, or he would give them five different words, something like finds it, he, yellow, and instantly. And he would have them create 4-word sentences. For example, he finds it yellow. All right. So then he had a separate group doing something very similar, but instead of just these random words, half of them, or about half of them, were old person words, if you will. Words like Florida, forgetful, bald, gray, wrinkle, these words. And he had them construct 4-word sentences out of those 5 words, or out of a mix of those and some others. And what he found is out of the two groups, the groups that had old person words started exhibiting traits and characteristics as an old person would. And I say that when they were done with the study, the group that had old person words, they walked slower than the other group. Right? Now this is interesting, and this is interesting because what we found is that the idea influenced the action. And actually, we found that it actually works in reverse as well. That not only did these people start moving slowly because of the words, but in a separate study, in which they had a bunch of individuals walking around at 30 beats per minute, or 30 steps per minute. He found that when they were done with this short survey or this short exercise, these people that walked around much slower, about half as slow as a normal person they found that they were more susceptible and aware of, and they saw better old person words. Words like forgetful, old, and lonely. So they were tuned in. So not only does the idea influence the action, but the action actually influences the idea as well. So this is really, really important, that When we are thinking we are fit, it influences our action. We start acting fit. When we start acting fit, we start influencing the way we think, and we start becoming more fit. We act as if. We become the person we want to be by changing the ideas, and the changing of the ideas influences what we do. We start exhibiting those actions. That's important. And I love this. We can demonstrate this just the next time you're very frustrated, or you could even do it right now. But it's really remarkable when you're upset and you're angry and you're frustrated, when you have a temper like I do, and you force yourself to genuinely smile, to just genuinely, as hard as you can, I'm going to have a great day. I'm so frustrated, but I'm going to have a great day and I'm doing so good, right? It influences your output. You become happier. You literally feel your anger melt away some. Now, it may not completely dissipate, but it's amazing. It's amazing. So we're reinforcing the cycle when the action influences the idea and the idea influences the action, right? Now, the problem is that when many people start up, they're not completely committed. They leave the door open. They're not 100%. They don't commit to thinking that they are fit. They don't commit to feeling that they are worth it. They don't even think that they're going to be able to achieve it. Even if it's a small little doubt, we're opening up that door and we're not 100% committed. And all this will do is it will lead you to start focusing on your failures. Again, reinforcing that cycle, but in this case, the cycle is a negative cycle. Reinforcing and seeing the failures. Oh, I'm not quite there yet. Or I've only lost 3 pounds instead of I've lost 3 pounds. Or I've been eating all this food and I'm just not seeing what I want to see. But you're eating all the right foods now, right? And we're influencing a negative behavior. Now, you can change this as subtly as incorporating more fitness magazines or surrounding yourself with fitness magazines. They've seen this in studies of fitness magazines sitting there. You become of that thought process of becoming more fit. Of course, you don't become more fit by seeing it. You got to do it, but it influences your actions. You could do this like listening to your favorite music. That's why I love 120 beats per minute. Is statistically the beats per minute you need, because it's roughly twice as fast as your normal heart rate. And that's the ideal song to be listening to get you motivated and get you going. Again, influencing the action. But it could also be as great as surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be like, the people that are focusing on improving themselves and focusing on improving their health, and surrounding yourself with people you want to be like. Again, priming. It could also be like having regular discussions around the dinner table with your significant other or your kids about health and what kind of activity they've done. What did you guys do in sport class? Or how about we go to the park today? Or just becoming a way of life and becoming this, and prime yourself up to focus on the positives and the activity and the fitness and the health. And having that support with your husband or your wife, and priming them and speaking with them, discussing about the support that you need to have from them. It could be like getting new workout clothes. When you have new workout clothes that you love, as opposed to those dingy, old, ugly ones that were just, clothes I wore yesterday and I threw them on to work out today because I'm just going to sweat in them anyways, versus having the bright, beautiful pink sweats and the yoga pants or what have you, and you're so excited to wear them because they're the new stuff. And yeah, you're more likely to wear them. Or your new shoes. When you only wear those new shoes when you go work out, you're more likely to do that. And you start associating this happiness and this positivity and all of these fitness activities together. And then we create that new web that we primed our mind to be thinking about fitness all the time, and thinking about becoming healthy and doing the things that you need in order to lose the weight that you have to lose. And this will affect your self-confidence. It will affect your self-esteem. Now, as I said, all of these things, it sounds very alien, right? It's difficult to believe. But I got to tell you right now that disbelief is not an option, that you have to understand. This is only just a few studies that I quoted here. There are many studies out there showing that money influences people to become more individual and selfish, that when you are becoming more individual and selfish, you're much less likely to help out other people, that even the temperature of a cup of coffee can influence how positive or negative you have towards a stranger that you just met. All of these studies. Your brain is so complex. So you have to accept that these idioms, that these facts are true. And even more important, you have to accept that they're true about you. that you're not the norm, that this is exactly what is going on for you as well, that you have to surround yourself with people and positivity and surround yourself with fitness and prime yourself up to look for what can I do to become healthier. And the truth is it snowballs together. This is Coach with Live Fitness. Check us out, bluespringspersonaltraining.com.